Most people never truly live. They just react. Their days unfold like echoes of the world around them, rushing because others rush, fearing because others fear, chasing what everyone else chases. But somewhere inside, there's a voice that whispers, "This isn't living." You feel it when the noise fades, when you realize your entire life has been on autopilot. That's the moment everything changes, when you finally decide to stop being a product of the world and start becoming its architect. The truth is, most people are prisoners of momentum. They wake up not because they choose to, but because an alarm tells them to. They chase success without ever asking what success even means to them. Their lives are shaped by pressure, approval, and fear of falling behind. And somewhere along the line, they forget that they have a choice. They start calling survival living. But the rare few, the ones you call the 1%, they pause. They question. They realize that freedom doesn't come from escaping the system, but from mastering themselves within it. They stop waiting for motivation, for permission, for the right moment. They act, and clarity follows action. Every choice becomes a statement of identity. Every discipline becomes a declaration of control. Because while most drift with the current, the 1% learn to swim against it, not to impress the world, but to command their own mind. The 1% understands something the rest ignore. Life is not about comfort, it's about command. They know every emotion, every impulse, every distraction is a test of who's in control. Most people let the world decide their pace. They wait for courage before they move, wait for understanding before they act, wait for the perfect moment that never arrives. But the 1%, they act first. They trust that motion creates clarity, that action builds strength. They've learned that hesitation kills more dreams than failure ever could. Each morning, they begin with a question: what decision would the strongest version of me make today? Then they make it, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's inconvenient. Because discipline is not a feeling, it's a choice repeated until it becomes identity. The 1% understand that growth hides behind resistance. They don't chase pleasure to escape pain. They endure pain to earn peace. They know that every distraction is a thief dressed as comfort, and every wasted day is a debt borrowed from the future. They're not lucky. They are forged. And every small moment of control, every silent act of discipline, becomes another brick in the empire of self-mastery they are quietly building. There comes a moment when the 1% stop being ruled by emotion and start ruling through awareness. They understand that life will never slow down for them. The noise, the chaos, the opinions, it's all constant. But they learn to move through it with stillness inside. They stop reacting to every insult, every doubt, every failure, because they know reaction is weakness. Control is power. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's the philosophy the 1% live by. When the world tells them they can't, they don't argue. They act. When the crowd panics, they stay grounded. When temptation whispers, they stay focused. This mindset isn't built in grand moments. It's built in quiet ones. When no one's watching, when the bed feels warm, when the excuses sound reasonable, that's when the 1% decide who they are. They don't chase perfection. They chase alignment. They measure success not by what they achieve, but by whether they stayed true to their inner code. Because if you win the world, but lose your integrity, it's not victory, it's surrender. The 1% don't need validation. They don't need applause. They've already chosen their standard, and that standard never bends. While the masses drift in reaction, they move with design. Every day becomes a test of will. Every decision, a chance to prove mastery. And that's where real freedom begins. Freedom begins when you stop outsourcing control of your mind. The 1% know this. They've stopped blaming circumstances, people, or luck. They understand that the battlefield is always internal. The crowd runs from discomfort. They see pain as punishment. But the 1% see it as proof. Every difficult choice, every moment of restraint, every hour of discipline is a weapon sharpened in silence. They know comfort weakens the edge of the soul. So instead of chasing easy days, they train for hard ones. They say no when everyone else says yes. They reject shortcuts that cheapen their character. They would rather lose with integrity than win through compromise. Because every decision is a signal to the mind, a reminder of who commands who. Most people obey their impulses. The 1% command them. That's why they are calm in chaos, steady in failure, and dangerous in doubt. They've built something most people never touch: self-respect. And once you have that, the world changes. Noise stops influencing you. Criticism stops wounding you. Fear stops directing you. You begin to move with purpose, even when the path is unclear. The 1% are not fearless. They've simply decided that fear will never be the reason they stop. Every morning, they recommit to the standard carved inside them. And that standard becomes unshakable. Because true power isn't about controlling others. It's about mastering yourself so completely that nothing outside can touch the peace within. The truth is, the world doesn't need more followers. It needs more thinkers, people who move with intention instead of reaction. The 1% aren't born different. They're built different. Every day, they make quiet choices that compound into power. They choose honesty when lying would be easier. They choose discipline when comfort whispers. They choose consistency when motivation fades. And over time, those choices build a mind that can't be bought, shaken, or broken. You'll know you're changing when old habits start to feel heavy, when meaningless conversations drain you, when comfort begins to taste like poison. That's growth. It's the soul realizing it's meant for more. But this path isn't glamorous. It's lonely, silent, and often misunderstood. You'll outgrow people who love your old version. You'll disturb those who stay sedated by ease. But remember, comfort has never built a sovereign mind. Every moment is a decision, design, or drift. You can wait for courage, or you can act and let courage follow. You can keep reacting to the noise, or you can become the calm that silences it. Because life isn't waiting. Time isn't pausing. The years will pass whether you command them or surrender to them. So decide now. Refuse to be a reaction. Refuse to live by default. Take control of the only thing that ever truly belonged to you, your mind. Because once you master that, the world no longer happens to you. It happens through you.